7:30 live.
And we are live. Car Talk is back in action.
All right.
Winter's here.
You're back.
I'm here with Eric and Lucas once again. We've got Lucas. We got a whole new view this time, and we're doing live. Yeah. We've got Eric joining us as well. Thank you very much. I know we've been itching to do a podcast for a very long time, so I'm glad to be
It's
back
been a
doing it.
long, hot summer.
So this is live, and this is going to be, there's going to be a lot of things around switching cameras and everything that I'm going to try and do while we have a conversation. So we'll do our best.
Well, you can do your best. We'll just sit here and drink our whiskey and partake in the conversation.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
He's here just for the booze, right?
Yeah, and Kim's meat board.
Charcuterie.
Oh, yeah.
It's called charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
That was good. It didn't last long.
No.
Yeah,
we're good.
I wonder if I should move the camera a little bit. No, you got both.
No,
of
we're
those.
good. We're good.
Okay, so live, we kind of, as expected, we don't have a lot of people on the chat right now. I was hoping for thousands and thousands of people like lining up for this, but whatever. We're only about a minute in. Maybe people will join after. So the topic of today's podcast and YouTube Live is winterizing your ride. Winter's here. We've got a lot of cars that we have to prepare for the winter as well. So I thought maybe we'll talk about what that regimen looks like for each of us and our winter cars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where should we start? Maybe we'll talk about how your summer's gone so far before we jump into the winterizing aspect. Anything special?
We're live, Lucas. Camera 2.
Not enough drives.
Not enough.
We were slacking. We did a few drives here and there, but we should have done like triple the amount of drives. The last cruise we did to Kemptville for coffee, that was fun. It was fantastic, and it wasn't really like out of the way. It didn't take too long,
Yeah.
Short morning cruise for coffee and back, and
Like, well, what we used to do before was that we wake up early, do the drive, and get back home before the family kind of woke up.
yeah.
And we didn't quite have a chance to do that this summer as much.
Yeah,
Hopefully next spring.
Yeah.
We'll watch out.
I agree.
How about you? How's your summer been?
I found myself unusually busy, so I didn't put a lot of miles on the car this year.
Yeah, that's true.
A little more mountain biking, which was good, and then
Also, not enough.
yeah. Well, for you rode 4 times.
No.
Brand new bike. You rode it 4 times.
No. I was like out like 7 times, 8
Around
times.
your neighborhood doesn't count.
Yeah.
Okay. With the girls.
Kind of like the cars too. No kidding.
Yeah. So yeah, just busy with work. Got into sauna and cold plunging. That was fun. Gonna do that.
Yeah,
That's
the
a whole
hot
separate
cold treatment.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we should do it over there.
We could do it in the sauna. It'd be great.
Are you suggesting like a podcast live in the sauna, or?
I don't know if my equipment will survive with all the moisture,
It
but
gets pretty hot in there.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the conversation.
so we do have one participant in the live. Mark, thank you for joining us, the one and only. If you have comments, share away in the chat down below.
A single mark out.
Well, we had when I asked people what they would like us to discuss, there was good engagement.
Yeah,
for that,
we've
right?
got. So should we? I know we're going to talk about starting with winterizing. What's your routine? Is that?
Yeah, I think,
And then we'll hit some of the questions.
Yeah, I think we'll get to that. Let me pull out my.
Yeah. Well, Lucas, why don't we go to you first? And like, what's your November regiment?
I was a lot more strict when I first had like my summer car, like mothballs and cat litter and trays inside and
Mothballs.
yeah. Like, anyways, it's kind of tamed itself down, and I just air up the tires, trickle charger, and a bit of silica packs in the car, and that's it. Just park it.
It's like a simple winterization.
Simple. Yeah. And I know people, like, there's always a debate of whether you should change the oil before you put it into storage, or before and after, or after. But I just I changed the oil like late spring.
Yeah.
And then I just leave it for the winter.
So yours is your M3.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about that. So
Yeah.
that's kind of your simple trickle charger.
Trickle charger, air up tires, silica packs in the car.
Do the silica packs really help?
You know what? I don't know, but just to control the moisture level,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
You know?
How about you, Eric? What's your
Yeah, I'd say ditto. I fuel. The one thing I'd add is fuel stabilizer.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'd add that trickle charger, overinflate the tires. That's it. I was going to wonder, put out the debate, car cover or no car cover. I don't use it. I don't use a cover.
That's a huge one.
For me, when the car is in storage, I at least want to get some enjoyment of being able to like look at it
yeah.
as I take the garbage out. Reminds me why we work so hard.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a moment. And I also I think putting a car cover on, say there's a little bit of wind, like it's friction on your paint, which always just seems like a bad idea to me.
Yeah. I'm the same way. No car cover for me. I like to see it. But my garage door gets open quite a number of times in the winter because that's how I go in and out.
Yeah.
So once in a while I'll have snow
Coming
into the space. But even then, I don't cover up.
Yeah.
Same with you.
Naked.
Well,
naked.
people who do cover their cars, I think they're trying to protect it from dust and other things. But I prefer to leave the car as is, let it get dusty, and just wash it in the spring.
Yeah.
Like, why have it covered? And Eric's right. Like he pointed out. I mean, it depends if you have one of those slick, tight covers, the spandex style ones. I guess they don't move as much. They're pretty secure on the car. But any of the loose covers, a bit of wind or a breeze, and it'll irritate the clear and it'll start scuffing the paint. So I just prefer to leave the car sitting in the garage.
Yeah.
And even if you have heat in the garage, maybe like 3 or 4 times during the season, just wipe it down, keep it clean.
Well, I mean, I don't even touch it.
No?
If I see dust on, I'm just leaving it until
I touch it.
well,
I bet you do.
Yeah, I do touch it.
just stop touching your car, man.
Touch it at night.
So I use the Ego blower instead.
Yeah, that
And
helps.
it helps quite a bit. It takes a lot of the dust off in the winter. Like after a few months, it gets dusty. I go,
How good is that blower, eh?
it's the best tool that I think.
I love it.
Yeah.
If you guys don't have an
I
Ego
don't have
blower,
one.
if you're a car guy and you have a property, even more so, if your car is summer coated and you wash the car, an Ego blower with the short stubby, it'll dry your car completely. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's such a convenient tool. And sometimes I carry my trunk.
Yeah.
I'll drive somewhere and there's dust on the side of the door or the back of the trunk. Blow it off.
Yeah.
It's clean and no touching, no friction.
I mean, you could even take care of the snow. You could
Light
do
snow.
fall leaves.
Light snow. It'll take care of light snow. Yeah.
How does that compare? Because I've got a 2-stroke Husqvarna gas blower.
So gas blowers are pretty. No, they're actually pretty good because the gas blower's got quite a bit of power to it. But it's I think that the ease of the trigger, where you can just turn it on and off like on the go, is convenient. You don't have to keep cranking it or leaving it idle or running, or you don't have to add fuel to it.
Besides, you'll keep the Karen happy using
the
the
noise.
Ego blower.
Yeah, it's quieter. It's still pretty loud though. Like there's still quite a bit of volume from it.
Some people, and I don't do this, but maybe just for discussion, some people start their car in the winter.
Ooh.
Yeah, no,
no.
I winced
I
a bit
would
too,
say
right?
no.
Cold start, minimize cold starts.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's some, I think if you've got it in a heated garage, some people say, well, it's good to circulate the fluids and keep the seals moist.
I think most people that I've spoken to, or at least what I've been doing, I don't touch it anymore. I used to be like that. I used to go in once in a while, crank it up. But just idling is not good for the motor.
No, I wouldn't idle it. I do move it sometimes, like closer towards like March. I get like the bug, where it gets
to drive it.
It's the Instagram bug where he pulls it out of the garage to do a reel with the snow on the ground and then puts it back in.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
You should just take it on the snow one day.
No, you know what? I would, but I wouldn't be able to back in the house.
You would get stuck outside.
Yeah, I get stuck in the road, and then after, like what,
It's true.
Well,
It's not worth it.
where we live in Ottawa, it's sometimes not even the snow; it's the salt, right?
Yeah.
That's the real killer.
That's true.
That's what keeps my car hibernated.
Yeah. Even now, we've had a light snow dusting like a few days ago,
salted.
And now today was 10 degrees and it's warm outside,
Yeah.
but the roads are shit. They're covered in like a light dust, salt stains everywhere from I guess they were happy and they just started spreading everywhere.
Yeah.
But basically your car's stuck in the garage now, because if you bring it out, it gets dusty and dirty and covered in salt so quickly.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
I think the salt companies have captured our municipal politicians. Big salt. That's what they're pushing. They're pushing the salt on the roads.
Oh yeah.
Isn't salt like an expensive thing?
Yeah, of course it is.
What do you mean?
There's lots of margin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's profitable.
But the thing is, well, I don't want to get into politics here,
like-
but if they don't use the salt, they won't get the same amount of salt the next year.
Oh, that's true.
right.
They have to
keep those
deplete.
They have to
budgets.
use it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's like budgets in tech or in like large corporations as well.
If you don't use them, you get
less next year.
less next year.
So it's like use it.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the winterizing aspect of it. So in terms of preparing our dailies or our summer cars, it's a simple regimen.
Yeah.
Tire pressure is cranked up 10 psi more,
Fuel.
full tank,
Yeah.
trickle charger, and that's it.
Yep.
And Mark is also saying he does the same thing as well, and he uses a winter cover. That's okay.
Does he change oil before or after?
I don't know.
Mark, what do you do? Do you change the oil before storing? or not?
I think there is. It depends on how long the car is going to sit in that. If it's going to sit a long time, it's probably good.
What's a long time? Like 6
Well,
months?
ours sit about 4 or 5
4?
months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's for even a
Longer.
longer period. It's worth changing before.
Yeah, like what I do, I don't do an oil change before. I do it after the fact.
Yeah.
So before, when I take it out of storage, before I drive the car hard for any reason, do a full oil change,
Yeah.
get the oil checked,
Yeah.
and then I'll go full
Blast it up.
Yeah, blast.
I think it's important to frame it that we all change our oil. I think maybe once a season, and we
Yes.
drive 4,000 or 5,000 kilometers,
Not
maybe
Not even, yeah.
right, not even. So I think the oil life is fine,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't dwell on it. You're changing the oil in your car every 4,000 kilometers. That is overkill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you change your oil in the spring, is your oil black or is it still kind of cortado-ish?
It's more like a,
'Cause
it's
my
a cafe latte.
Because mine's never black in that car.
Yeah.
It's always, it has some
It's like chocolate milk. Is that bad?
yeah, there's coolant in it.
Wait, what's going on here? What sort of oil change are you guys doing?
Well, no, if your oil looks like
chocolate milk.
like chocolate milk,
It's mixed with cool.
It's bad.
it's bad.
Okay, I haven't had that trouble happen.
But it's never black.
Yeah.
When I change it, do you change your oils or do you bring it to the dealership?
I take it to the dealership, so I never see my oil unless there is a problem and they
Yeah.
tell me you got to do something. So far,
It's fun.
touch wood, it's been good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so far.
Okay.
Mark says he does it after.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm with Mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm there as well. All right, so let me so that's for our summer cars. We've tucked it away. We've obviously got winter cars as well, right? What sort of preparations do you do for that to be ultra safe for the winter conditions that we have in Ottawa? Toronto is different because it's not as heavy of snow as us here in Ottawa. What do you do to your dailies?
Yeah, I just got a new one for the pod.
Yeah,
Ford Explorer ST,
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
400 horsepower.
415 pound-feet of torque.
Oh, I thought it was a Range Rover for some reason.
Yeah, people get them confused all the time. And so I mean, what I've done, it's a company car, so it doesn't get a ton of love. But snow tires, I got Continental snow tires. I don't, you don't want to cheap out on tires, so a good quality snow tire. And it's an all-wheel drive vehicle, which I think is in our climate a must.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Continentals, is that the first time you're using that brand, or?
No, I had it on my my previous company car.
Okay. And how did that hold up?
Perfect.
How many seasons do you get to put?
4,
Well, that's not bad.
three, maybe. Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's actually not too bad, but like I had Toyos on my, so I had 3 X5s, 2 X5s, and I used the same winter tire on 2 generations of cars.
Wait. How often were you? How long have you had those cars?
Well, I had an E70. I had it for 2 years.
So 2 seasons.
And then I had the F15 for 3 years. So 5 years
5 seasons on one set of tires.
on one set of winter
Yeah.
tires. And then I sold it to Dave. And then Dave used it for another 2 seasons.
Oh, wow.
And they were fine. Like, honestly, there's nothing wrong with them. They were wearing evenly and they didn't really wear down that quickly, to be honest.
Yeah.
So even for, like, right now, the new X5, the GO5, I put Pirellis on the 22s. So they're a big size. I know it's stupid, but I'm like, should I buy a whole winter package or just buy tires? It's the same price, right? As 20-inch in winters or 22s and tires. So they were pricey tires, but they're 315 rears, Pirelli winters, 275 fronts.
Wait, you put winters on your 22-inch wheels?
Yeah.
Yeah. On the X5, you've seen it.
Yeah.
I thought they were 20s.
No, they're
some reason.
22s and they're 315 rears.
That's bonkers, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But they're wearing really nicely. I just put them on last week and they're...
I think the death of the winter tire isn't actually in the winter. It's when you see people extend them out well into April, May, warm
That's what it
temperatures.
is.
That's when you really degrade the tire because it's a softer compound than a normal tire.
Yeah.
Not meant for plus 4 degrees and warmer temperatures, right?
I mean, you could, if you're caught in like plus 15, plus 18 or whatever, you could do a small drive.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you're regularly driving that.
Yeah, you
that's-
see people with their winter tire package into May.
Yeah.
You know, those last 2 months of that tire is worse than the previous 4.
You have to book Easy Tire in January. so he comes in April.
Easy Tire's a busy person.
Busy guy. Busy
hard to
guy.
get
Shots
along.
fired.
Yeah.
Hey, he did my winter.
Yeah.
Winters on the RS5.
You're good to go.
That's tonight's sponsor. Easy Tire Mobile Tire Service.
Easy Tire.
Comes to your door, changes your tires,
Yeah.
book him 4 months in advance.
So, Toyo, what's the brand of winter?
So the ones that I had before were Toyo GI5, I think.
Okay.
They were good tires. I can tell you this: I had numerous cars with different widths of winter tires, and the best performing one was I had Blizzaks on an E90 X Drive in a 215 square
Yeah,
setup.
that makes sense.
Those were, you couldn't slide the car. Like I was
They were
trying
narrow.
to drift it on snow, and it wouldn't drift. That's how it was hooking up. The X5 with the wide tires, even though they're winters, you can definitely slide it more. It does brake and grip really well. I mean, it's not like it's unsafe, but it's
But it's more fun.
But it's more fun, but and it looks good, right? It's this huge SUV that isn't sitting on these like CN rail tires. So it does. I think part of it is aesthetics.
Yes.
But on a smaller car, like a narrow tire, will definitely be better.
I will say, because you brought up the point on the 22-inch on your X5, it does bother me because I think it was one of the questions about what size do you go.
Yeah.
And I think people that that buy $180,000 SUV and then they get Steelies or some small offset, I think, and especially in a climate like ours where 6 months, certainly 4 months of the year, you look at the car and you've got this beautiful SUV that you spent all this money on and then you've cheaped out and it looks awful.
It looks like dog shit.
Right. You got, tons of tuck.
Yeah.
On the offsets. It's just a smaller diameter.
Yeah.
For a third of the year. I don't know why you don't spend a little more and get a nice looking wheel and tire package.
What I find is interesting as well, those are the sizes that dealers sell a lot of these folks as well. Like you see, like I've seen Q5s and Audi S5s and RS5s on super tucked in wheels, but they were OEM spec winter tires from the dealers themselves.
Yeah.
And it looks crap.
I think the move is, and because this is what you've done too, is you use the OEM wheels, put your snow tires on those, and it gives you a great excuse to buy a new
set of wheels.
set of wheels with proper offsets and a new tire.
Yeah.
And you're also riding on a good quality winter wheel.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of replicas that look like OEM styles or brands. But if you're going up to the 22-inch range on a low-profile winter tire, and you start hitting potholes and bad roads, I don't think they're going to hold up as well as an OEM wheel does, right? So
that's it's an interesting thing. I was reading Mark say this as well. Like he says he's got the 2022 Macan GTS for the winter, and he's doing 21-inch Pirellis all season. So that triggers the question
for winter.
For winter. Mm-hmm. So all seasons versus dedicated winter.
But is he running those all year round?
No, he doesn't say, but
Yeah.
Regardless, would you run all seasons in the winter?
If it was one set to do it all, it's definitely doable. Like I'll compare this to my truck because trucks are a whole nother like category. But a lot of trucks with 33-inch, 35-inch tires, there is no winter tire that big.
Yeah.
So you're forced to run an all season or an all terrain. And every truck I've had, a bigger tire on it.
Yeah.
My last truck, my Raptor, had a 36-inch tire, and I didn't want to put on like a 32-inch winter Blizzak on a Raptor. It just would look stupid, right?
Yeah.
So I ran the KM3s, which is a mud tire, all year round for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I never really had a problem, to be honest. Like, the braking isn't as good in thin slush, but it grips just fine in snow.
And lasted long enough as well?
It lasted fine. I mean, it's a softer compound overall. It's a mud tire. You have to be more cautious in a tire like that as well as in all season. So all terrain, all season, they'll do just fine in the snow, but the braking isn't as effective.
Yeah. The
grip isn't as effective. It's
ride
not
quality.
A winter tire. Ride quality is about the same, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I don't think that's the same comparison as the average passenger vehicle because the all season isn't like the all terrain or mud tire, like you say, softer compound, so that's what you're going to want in cold temperatures. It's got a different tread profile that's meant to displace mud, which should perform decently in the snow.
Yeah.
Versus the traditional all season tire. The joke is all season is no season. I don't know. I think in this climate of Ottawa, I think you invest. I think you get a proper snow tire.
Yeah. Given that we have the amount of snow that we get, it's pretty harsh. We're in that snow belt. Way more snow than Toronto, maybe Montreal. Same thing. Right.
Southwestern Ontario, you can get away with it. I did it in an all season in an Audi A4, so it had Quattro, and it was fine on acceleration. Braking not as great.
You slide around a bit more.
Yeah. But the Quattro system was sure-footed upon acceleration and handling. But
so the whole time, or the years that I've had cars in the winter, I've always done all seasons. So Kim, when we had the Q5, we did all seasons all through the ownership of that car. But the A4, I've always done dedicated winter.
Yep.
And I think I might have been so crazy to the point I went hardcore winter tire setup with Nokia and Hakkapeliitas.
Whoa.
Not with the studs or anything, but the brand itself.
Yeah.
It's like a rally racing brand.
Well, it's the most, I think, aggressive winter tire out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that lasted me maybe 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
I used the same tires on 2 different cars. I think I used it on, I can't remember, it was the A4, and I used the same thing on an RX-8.
Yeah.
So I would always chase after that one brand.
Yeah.
And it was only maybe last year or 2 where I dabbled into Michelin.
Yeah. Well, I think that the Hakkapeliitas limit you depending on size. I don't think they have them in like 20s or 22s. Yeah. I think their sizing goes up to like an 18 or 19 max, and then that's it. That's where it goes.
And that wheel won't clear some big brake kits that's
true.
OEM now. Lucas, serious question for you because you talked about like the M3 not being able to get out. What about like? Cause you don't need to do snow tires in that car, but like, what if you put just chains on the HRE wheel?
I'd have to lift it.
Chains.
I have to lift it pretty bad. No, but like talking about winter driving and tires, like Eric's talking about Quattro, I'm talking about X-Drive and SUVs. These are all-wheel drive cars with dedicated winter tires. So let's go to a rear-wheel drive car, for example.
Oh, that's true.
It was one of the questions. Would you drive an F80 M3 all year round? That was from Don, right?
So
well, let's see. What does he say? Yeah, it was from Don. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, so if there's, let's say you have a one car to do it all, right? And you have an M3 or M4. Can you do it? Yeah, you can do it. I think Eric winter drove his M3 for 2 or 3 years.
Different Eric.
Eric
Galley.
Galley.
I would never own an M3. That's what I just want to know.
Yeah. so he drove his, and he was on Hakkapeliitas, and he didn't have really any problems. But I think what you run into is ground clearance at the end of the day, right? So if you're modifying the car and you're lowering it and you keep it lowered, even Hakkapeliitas aren't going to help you. When your car is low, it's low.
Yeah.
You're going to sit on snow and then you're stuck, right? So
You bottom out, and that's when you get stuck.
that's when you get stuck.
Yeah.
And
So-
especially the way we modify cars, they're going to have, front lips on them. Going to be Slam City.
Okay, let's be realistic. These cars are not getting out.
No, they're not. My car wouldn't make it out of the driveway if on Hakkapeliitas. It's not a winter,
It's
car.
not a tire situation at
Yeah.
all in this scenario. It's the way you
Is that not enough horsepower? Does it just can't plow through the
It's
snow?
too much, Eric. It's too much horsepower.
You just spin.
It just spins.
Okay.
That's funny.
But I just don't think I would not enjoy my time
No.
in that car in the winter.
No, I would, it's back to that salt conversation too. Just knowing your cherished vehicles getting eaten alive.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of cars you can probably pick up for cheap for the winter that have all-wheel drive. There's tons of used 3 Series Quattro, A4 Subarus. Eric loves Subarus.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Do not.
I'm
love
surprised you
Subarus.
don't own one right
Yeah,
now.
well,
yeah. You never know.
it's just my demographic.
Yeah.
Maybe let's.
It's probably the 4 viewers that are watching. Probably.
Hey, we got Vic who's in the
Don't
house.
dump
now.
on your audience.
Vic is there. All right.
Yeah. Mark says he's run 20-inch all seasons on his previous Macan GTS. So I mean, you can get away with.
I mean, you can do. Of course, you can do it. People have been doing it forever. It's just, is it ideal? No. And are you saving money? Just if you buy snow tires, you're just gonna prolong.
I mean,
both, right?
There is an aspect of space as well. When people have these winter cars, a lot of them maybe don't have the space to store their.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh, well,
That's a thing?
It's a thing, especially.
It's his thing. He has nowhere to store his tires.
Easy Tire, they store tires too. They do all this
shameless plug
paid
right
commercial.
there.
Yeah.
Taught me.
Okay, well, I guess on that note, let's take a little boost break.
That's all. Keep going.
More?
That's good.
Let's see what.
You want a little help out there?
Sure, yeah.
All right, there you go.
Let's see. So Vic says, "Hey guys," and he says #Audi session or season. Yeah. That's not happening. Well, I've got the RS5. I'm still repping the Audi. So
Yeah.
Not Vic. He got rid of it, right?
So,
that's
but
true.
back to the winter driving a rear-wheel drive car. To be honest, I think now, at least the winter here.
Sure.
Boost break. Prabhu? A little bit of a.
What, you just top me
Listen,
up already?
you want more or not?
Okay, sure. Let's
Okay.
go. That's good. That's good.
So our winters here, if it snows, let's say there's a snowstorm, it lasts for the evening. The plows are out in full effect. Everything's plowed and salted
Lucas, you're out
within
of your mind.
3-4 hours. The
On
roads are-
our streets, south of the city,
well, maybe the
It's
neighborhood
Armageddon.
streets are, yeah.
Yeah.
But majority of the city is pretty clean, pretty fast after a storm. So if you work from home, for example,
yeah.
you could probably winter drive anything with a decent winter tire, and you'll be completely fine.
So then let's wrap up wheels and tires for a moment. So what we're saying, what we've done at least, is that we've taken our OEM wheels, put winter tires on them, got some aftermarket wheels for the summer, for our dailies, not your summer only cars.
Yeah.
And I've done that with the RS5, and I'm running Michelin Alpine Sport. That's the winter brand.
Michelin Winters,
Square setup, 285s all around.
pretty decent.
Yeah, it's held up really well, and there's lots of tread left still after 3 years. And mind you, I don't drive it on a daily basis. I work from home kind of thing. So that's the way I would do it as well going forward. And we have the same thing for our Macan GTS as well. Dedicated winter tires, good to go, and wheels.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever do all seasons again.
No.
And
you know what? I did them. I think we had a Lexus IS all-wheel drive, and we had it on all seasons when it came from the factory. So I put summer wheels on the car, and then winter came along. I put the OEMs back on, and we just rode on all seasons, so all
but
winter
they were
long.
fresh all season.
Fresh all seasons, and they were okay. They were decent. And then when I got the E90 as a daily, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put on a good set of of winter tires. And when I when I drove that car in the snow, I'm like, I've been missing this much traction all my life. It's insane. So I would never do especially if you have a dedicated set of wheels for winter. Like I would never do all seasons.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer for me.
The one thing about a full-on winter tire setup is you have less fun. You can do like, snow drifts easily. On all seasons, you're just like...
Yeah. When I was like 16, my first car was a Ford Thunderbird. So it's like the 1988, I think it was. That was the year of the car. It was rear-wheel drive. Did not have snow tires on it. But what we did...
Hold on, a question for you. Did they have winter tires back then?
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know.
That's a good question.
I'm not sure they were popular back in those days.
But you know what we did? We put in these... It was like this bag of steel pellets in the rear to try to give the weight some rear so it would have traction. And when I saw snowfall, I didn't hibernate. I went out. Every time we'd be like donuts on the street and drifting the car around.
Yeah. I was the same way as you. I didn't use steel pellets because that's a bit of a driving hazard.
Hold on, what are steel pellets?
Like it's like a bag. It was a bag that probably weighed 75 pounds.
But what are they for?
To give you weight in the rear end.
But are they just for that?
You'd put it in the trunk, yeah.
So this is dedicated for
in the winter, yes.
So you don't buy winter tires; you just buy steel pellets.
I don't know if, to your point, I don't even know if winter tires existed.
They didn't. I'm pretty sure you bought bags of steel pellets.
That's true.
And shoved them in your trunk.
Well, they were doing chains back then.
That's true. Yeah.
But not in the streets.
They used to.
Yeah.
And then they banned it.
And then they banned it because it tore up the streets.
Yeah.
Fucking tore up your car.
Yeah.
That's true, because I was using sandbags, because for the longest time I was driving rear-wheel drive. When I had an RX-8, I drove that all winter long. Yeah. And that's the one I had Nokia and Hakas on. And I still put sandbags in the back. It was a rear-wheel drive car. Yeah. It was a blast. I would go skiing with it. I would go up to the mountains.
And it was fine, eh?
Yeah. I mean, it's scary.
Have you ever driven in an all-wheel drive car with studded Hakkapelitas?
No.
It's studded?
Studded.
It's not allowed.
Studded
is not allowed
Quebec is allowed.
Oh, okay.
And Quebec cars come to Ontario and fuck up our streets. But
beep.
But it's honestly so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. You feel like you're on tarmac.
I have studded mountain bike tires for my winter fat bike, and it is. You feel very sure-footed.
Yeah. So imagine that on so I drove it was a Subaru STI on Hakkapelitas tuned with studded.
Subaru. Yeah, there you go.
It was black, Eric.
Hey, it was STI.
It was
too.
black. It was ST.
It was not a Legacy.
Yeah. You got an STI in a Subaru?
Yeah. Where are you going with this?
Sorry about that, Lucas.
Let's see. Let's catch up on chat here. I guess it depends on how much snow you get. That's true. When I lived in Montreal, you needed bulldozers, not winter tires. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter what tire you have when they do the snow banks and the plows.
Yeah,
you're done.
That's true. Eh? That's true. That's one of the biggest pet peeves for me in the winter. It's just you spending 2 hours out there shoveling the driveway, and these guys come along and just lock you in.
Yeah,
there's some municipalities in Canada where they've contracted for a follow-up plow to come and take that away. I think it's in the GTA. There's one of the communities. Yeah. It's built into their tax system that they pay for that, for an extra plow to come.
So see, for us in the country, if you're hiring your own plow for your driveway, they actually come by and clear your front of your driveway after the plow comes by. Yeah. So that's part of
the private
their
stuff
contract.
Is better in some ways.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to get the second plow come and clear out the banks, but that never happens.
Happens like in March.
Yeah.
It's called the sun.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, the amount of sun that the amount of snow we got last year, it got dumped on us in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And the city just couldn't keep up with it. Anyway, so let's move along. So all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive. We talked about all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. All-wheel drive, it's what we all have. That's what we go towards.
Yeah.
Rear-wheel drive is fun, but to an unseasoned or not a skilled driver, that can be nerve-wracking. But front-wheel drive is also
I think
fairly good
that's
setup.
the most efficient, affordable, safe setup for like a winter car, really.
Like front wheel drive with a good tire.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you buy like a Volkswagen Jetta or something, front wheel drive with like a nice winter tire, you're good to go.
There was a comment here from Andrew Duong.
Yeah.
He says, Lucas, top 3 cafes in Ottawa. Name them. Go.
Dub House.
Times 3.
My house, obviously. I make a killer macchiato now, so 692, great coffee shop.
Yeah.
Manitic.
Mantic.
Yeah.
Drip House, fantastic.
Oh,
I love Drip House.
I was going to say Tartlet by my place.
It's pretty good, but Drip House is, I like the vibe of Drip House, and I like his ambitious kind of personality. Mm-hmm. He's always striving to do more, and he's doing like watch shows and art things and a bunch of different events. Menu's always changing. He's got breakfast, he's got brunch, he's got fantastic coffee. So Drip House.
There you go.
There you go, Andrew.
There you go. Thanks for the comments. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
So we've got Andrew, we've got Mark and Victor. Thank you guys for hanging out and chatting with us. We're about 40 minutes into this conversation. Wow, time flies, eh?
I know.
Yeah.
Gotta go, guys. Nice chat. Till next time. Thanks, Mark. Cool. Let's use the next 5 minutes because I think one of these
We still have some questions, don't we?
Yeah. The camera is going to give out in about 5 minutes, start overheating. So, rust proofing for winter.
Hell no.
2 thumbs down.
Definitely not. So let's put it this way. Let's say, what's the average ownership of your car?
3 years? 4 years?
Well, I think
Let's say 5.
Yeah, I think
5 years.
5 to 7.
Okay.
I think is a useful life.
So the car is not going to rust in 5 years, but it'll look good in the summer.
Yes.
If you rust proof it, it'll look like dog shit all year round. It'll look like shit. There'll be oil spilling out of all the crevices all summer long. You're going to wash your car. There'll be oil in all the door jams, everywhere inside. So you have to say to yourself, am I keeping this car for 25 years?
Yeah.
Or am I keeping it for 5 years? And if it's any longer than 5, okay, maybe some sort of rust proofing. But if you're not, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Just wax it before winter with some boat wax and ceramic coat it, and then you're good to go.
All right. My opinion on this, similar. 2 thumbs down. Don't I think it was a tradition born out of antiquated, they used to drill holes in your frame, right?
That itself is cool.
But now the way cars are made, it's not necessary. Sometimes the steel is galvanized before it's painted at the factory.
So
there's technology, the chemical resistant paints there's no need for it in this day and age, the way they make.
So not all manufacturers galvanize their
Not all. It depends on whether it's unibody. There's other, but the type, the process they use, where it's is it phosphate resistant paints? It supersedes the need to have this old fashioned, some guy with an oil can going around spraying your car. And to Lucas's point, it looks awful. It seeps everywhere.
It's one of the main reasons why I've stayed in the German. It's one of the big value propositions for me is that all the German cars are galvanized from factory.
Right. Yeah.
No rust proofing required.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
listen, let's just be honest, guys. The best bang for buck you can get is a rust module.
It emits a frequency that prevents rust.
You spend $800 on a blinking light in your engine bay.
Yeah.
So wait, I did that on the RX-8.
You did it, eh? You're gullible.
I didn't want sprays. I didn't want nobody drilling into it.
So you bought the red flashing LED module.
It's in the.
You did buy that?
Yeah.
Probable.
Come on, man.
This is years ago.
Come on.
This is the RX-8 world.
Young,
right?
dumb, and full of.
Okay.
So I believed in technology, and I believed in what they were saying and how it's keeping a charge active throughout the whole panel. Essentially,
someone needs to fact check that. And
I don't know.
Fact check that it works or it doesn't
I
work.
gotta think that is witchcraft.
No,
that's
it's a scam.
No. So it's apparently the same tech they use in pipelines. to keep pipelines from rusting. It's the same module, similar type of concept that they're bringing forward. Does it work? I don't know. I didn't own the car long enough to know if it worked or not.
Precisely. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll need to Google that when I get home tonight.
It doesn't work.
Let's check it. I think it's an option that manufacturers were giving. And
It sounds like the foot detox bath. Oh, look, the water's brown. Yeah. Just take your feet out and the water will still be brown. It's nothing to do with your feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I call bullshit.
rust proofing, we don't do it. If you have a non-German car that's not galvanized, people may want to do it just to...
I don't know. I still think if it's a modern day car, I just think the technology and the way they paint these cars and I think they're charged when
Yeah.
is it ionized? I don't know what the term is, but just the way that they're painted prevents that.
The module, that's what it does. It ionizes the frame.
Okay.
But does it though? Because I've heard it's just a blinking light. That's what
It's a placebo.
Maybe the actual real version
Yeah.
is supposed to do that, but a lot of shops were just selling like a box with the AAA's and a red LED.
Well, what about? I think what you do a good job at, like, just keep the vehicle clean.
Yeah.
Try to get the salt off of it.
Yeah.
Do the underspray.
I'd say prep it. I think a good winter prep, if you wax
wax
the door
it?
jams and the
Winter prep.
doors from
Yes.
the inside
That I
and
agree.
all like the crevices, then that's fine.
Actually, so you bring up a good thing as well. In the winter, how many times do you wash your cars? How frequently do you wash your cars to keep the salt off?
So this is hard to answer because it depends where you keep your car. Like my truck, I have my work truck. I keep it outside just because I just don't see a point of putting it in the garage, having all the slush and snow melt off of it, only to put it back on in the morning and just go through the whole cycle all over again. Yeah. So I just keep it outside.
Yeah.
And I think that's the better thing for the car.
Yeah,
if
they
you
say
keep
that
the car outside,
that's an argument against the heated garage, right? In a cold weather climate, because you're bringing the car in, the salt, the water, everything's going off, melting off onto the frame, and then you're going back out collecting more, and it's just doing it all over again.
Yeah.
I personally try to minimize the amount of washes I do. If my car is left outside or whether it's inside, I try not to wash it at all.
Yeah.
Or if I do wash it, make sure the car is fully dry before you take it out, because a lot of times the water in the door seams and the rubber
will collect salt and then
the freeze.
It freezes
and then expands, and
then when you're opening and closing, you got and then it's ripping off the wax from
wax, and then it's bad for your door. The jams, the seals. I honestly, I think I wash the car twice a winter. I try not to wash it. If it's a nice like weekend and it's like mild and there's a 3-4 day forecast where there's no snow and the roads are dry, I'll bay wash it somewhere and I'll blow it out in
bay wash.
Yeah, like bay wash.
Oh.
But Suds, I used to go to
Pam
Suds
Anderson
a lot.
comes up, washes the car for
David Hasselhoff.
in the winter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, but if you've been to Suds, they have an indoor bay wash where it's like 15-20 degrees inside. You can bay wash the car yourself.
Bay wash.
Pamela Anderson comes out.
It's a verb.
Bay wash. What would you call that? Self wash?
No, bay wash.
Okay, bay wash.
Bay wash. Self wash.
Yeah,
Wash it in a bay.
Yeah, so I'd bay wash the car inside, and then I'd blow it off, and before I left.
Yeah,
I bet you
and
do.
then after it stays clean for a week or so.
the drinks are kicking in right now. Ooh.
All right, let's pull these away from Eric. Let's put them on the side here.
So we're about 47 minutes in, and cameras haven't overheated.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome.
That's good.
Keep going. We'll do it live.
Let's also, so rust proofing, washing, minimize the washes just to protect your car. If it's sitting outside, you don't want things like rubber seams and things like that freezing and getting out, trying to rip the door open. You're going to start damaging the rubber seals, reduce the life of the rubber seals and so on. Interior. What do you do with the interior for
nothing?
For winter prep?
I tell you what, I am a huge WeatherTech liner.
Ooh, yeah.
Ambassador. Every car I have has them. I just like it.
I used to be, and then I bought Tux mats.
Oh,
for the X5, and they are very good.
What's the big difference?
So
I've never even heard of these.
So I think they're better 3D fit. They go between the rails and underneath the seat, and they have a nicer texture. They're not as plasticky. They're a
Are
little
you
more.
sponsored by them?
I am not sponsored. I bought them for full pop on Amazon.
Okay.
But they are very good mats, and they look premium to the extent where I can run them even through the summer.
They're like laser cut
plastic,
or
but they're not. They're kind of a vinylish plastic, but they don't look like WeatherTechs. They have a very premium finish to them, so they almost look like a cloth, but they're not. They're
listen, I could be converted. Tux, hit me up.
It's
modern 911.
very good.
Oh, like chasing
Very good.
sponsorships
Yeah,
right here. Right? Eric Thor, modern.
I've been a diehard WeatherTech guy up until this point.
So I used to have WeatherTechs in my all season cars, and then summer I'd remove them and put on the floor mat, like the
Tux Max.
No, I put on the carpet mats. But ever since I went to TuxMat, or I think it's called TuxMat, yeah, I've been using them like year round.
That's what they're called.
So I used to be WeatherTech person as well, and I stopped, and mainly because now OEM has really good options as well, and they're like WeatherTech. They're not as aggressive.
TuxMat.
Yeah, you're right.
TuxMat.
My Explorer ST came with the Ford OEM ones. I'll have to check. But they're pretty good too. It's a rubber similar. I don't love that.
What?
Let's see. Oh yeah, that's all right.
But they're like printed. They go around the gas pedal and they go under the seat. And anyways, nice fitted mat.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all you do. Just the mats. There's no other prep, any sort of curing or treatments for the interior to prevent, save it from the salt and things like that.
You can ceramic coat your seats, but honestly, there's not much. There's not much salt that goes on around the car. It's really just the floor mats, and I don't really. I might bay wash them once a season, but
with Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
No. How about you?
You know, your nickname's the Hoff. Call me the Hoff.
All right, let's quickly dive into some of the questions. I think we answered a lot of the questions as well. Okay, let's start with Richard. He has a very interesting question for you.
What's the question?
How does Eric's arms look so big? Does he shovel snow in the winter?
Do you shovel snow, Eric?
So I do shovel a little bit, but as Lucas pointed out, living where we live, I have a service that will come and blow the driveway. But I think the heart of the question is, I guess, my arms. Well, I go to the gym, Richard. I can bring you with me one time. Work on your fingers. See, Richard broke his finger mountain biking. It looked awful. Remember that, Lucas?
Oh, yeah.
So he's very weak in the arms and hands. I don't know.
He needs to practice
work on that.
Yeah, you use your fingers more, Richard.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, Megan.
Okay.
Next question.
Where did your heads go?
Go on.
You just told Richard to use his fingers more.
Go. Keep going.
Do you think it's possible to daily an F80, M3, or M4 in the winter with winter tires in Ottawa?
Possible, not fun.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
Gally
No,
did it.
we didn't talk about
Gally
it.
did
Yeah,
it.
kind of galley.
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
It's definitely possible. You can do it. Again, it comes down to
Not ideal.
Is the car modified? Is it lower significantly?
Stock suspension.
Is it stock? Like,
Let's say stock suspension.
Sure, you can do it.
You could do it with
Yep.
winter
Yeah,
tires.
decent tire.
yeah, you can do it.
And the rear-wheel drive is not a big deal.
No.
With the new G80s, you can get the
There's traction control, all
Yeah,
the
you're fine.
nannies.
You-
F80
can
rear-wheel
do it.
drive, solid.
Yeah.
With rear-wheel, with steel pellets or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. We talked about rust proofing. We're good. First winter cars when you finally had a 2-car setup, and favorite winter cars you've had.
Yeah, I know mine.
Anything all-wheel drive.
So I'll go my first. I thought I saw this in advance. So I had a Mustang was my fun summer car, was supercharged. But I had 2 winter beaters during the period. One was a Civic, which is less interesting. But I had this Ford. It was a Ford Tempo, and it was like a 15-year-old car when I had it, and I paid $500 for this from a friend who was a car dealer. They took it on a trade from little old lady. This thing was amazing.
Hold on. Is it a Ford Tempest?
Tempo.
Tempo.
Oh,
Ford
yeah.
Tempo.
Yeah.
Little red
okay.
car.
It's like the Taurus of today.
Okay.
No.
No?
It was smaller than that. It was the smaller, it was the
everything's
compact.
not big, but
No, but it was the Taurus and Tempo were out at the same time. It was the compact sedan, and this car, it was just great. It started every time, never gave me an issue. For $500, I just felt like I was, I cheated the system. I felt like a hack. I love that car.
that's cool.
That was
rear-wheel drive?
front wheel
Front-wheel drive.
Front wheel drive on that one. But my best winter beater was the Audi A4 Quattro, I would say.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So
I'd say my best.
lost the camera.
My camera just died. Okay, back to you guys.
Hey.
all right, you want us to wrap it up?
Yeah. I'll jump in and go. Hey.
Yeah. So what's your best car?
You guys chat and I'll change.
Well,
the
Lucas, let's go
category.
to your best.
The best winter car was I have to say it was the E90. Even though it was a car, it was an SUV, didn't have great ground clearance. The traction and the X-Drive system with that car on Blizzaks was like phenomenal.
Right.
And it's I remember there was like a corner, it was covered in snow, and I'm like, I'm gonna drift this corner. I'm going like 60 kilometers per hour, trying to get the back to come out, and it's not coming out. It just is. It was on rails. So probably the best handling, I think safest car I've had was the E90.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll kind of wrap this up with my favorite winter setup so far is the RS5. It's the ultimate, the Quattro system, the power, the styling, the look. It looks great in the snow and rain. It just looks like it's meant to do its business in those elements. So that's my favorite. So let's wrap this up. Oh, by the way, Crystal also says, thanks for letting me know. So she appreciates the early notice.
Oh, yeah. Cheers, babe.
Yeah.
Crystal, Lucas is out with me tonight. Promise.
Baywatch.
Yeah, he said, the Yasmin Beleith and Pamela Anderson washing cars.
Hey, it is what it is.
All right, so let's wrap up our first live Car Talk podcast. Thank you. I think it was good.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll check on the comments. I mean, thank you for Mark and Vic and Andrew for joining and at least being the first few participants of our chat. So yeah, that's it. Same time next week, 7:30 p.m. EST. We'll do this again on Thursday. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next
shoot
one.
some topic ideas.
Oh, yes. Yeah, share some topics that you'd like us to discuss as well. We'll be doing this with some boozing.
Yes.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. See you all later.